Hey guys, today we're going to review the Ryobi 18 volt 1 plus half-inch drill driver. This is the P215. So this is great for drilling holes and for driving screws. We're going to be going over all the features today. So this is now first thing, obviously this is a Ryobi tool. It's not a it's not, for a professional job site where you're going to be using it all day every day. It won't last as long, so that's the first thing to point out. So if you're like a professional construction worker or something along, you're doing this as your job, might not be the best tool. It's generally going to work fine, but it just won't last as long as some other brands, like say DeWalt, for example. But it is going to be totally fine for at-home use, and it probably will not wear out in its lifetime. It will basically last as long as you need it to in most cases. Basically going to last forever practically. So it's compatible with 18 volt Ryobi batteries, and these are compatible with most of the Ryobi tools. There are some other lines for like 12 volt batteries and 40 volts, but yeah, these are the 18 volt batteries, compatible with all of them. Now you might want to also look at the brushless version of this. So yeah, if you want something a bit better, and but this is fine for most tasks. But if you want something that's a step up, you might go with the brushless version. Talk a little bit more about that later. Now, remember, check the link in the description for where you can pick this up. I'm also going to try to put a link for where you can pick up the brushless version of this. So this version is the brushed version. We'll talk about that in just a sec. Yeah, you might want to get the brushless version, so check the links in the description of this video. Now, first feature we're going to talk about on this is that this has a brushed motor instead of the brushless motor. So what that means is that's basically just the type of motor, and it has actual physical contacts on the motor that can wear out more quickly for the brushed version. So the physical contacts are called brushes, right? So it's the type of motor. Now, some things to note about that are that the brushed motor does not last as long, but it probably won't wear out from home use. Like, you're probably not going to wear this out. It's easy to repair when it does fail, but it probably won't fail. But it's a lot easier to repair. The first thing that fails is going to be the brush, which you can easily just remove that metal component and replace it. So it's repairable. One thing to note is there are sparks. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but when I spin this, you can see the motor spinning through there. Sometimes you can actually see the sparks in there. I'm not seeing them right now. Sometimes you'll see the sparks, but this does produce sparks. That's something to be aware of. So yeah, less powerful mode. Generally, a brushed motor is going to be less powerful, less energy efficient, and it's going to be larger, so it's harder to make this compact. They have a brushless version, and they also have a brushless compact version. So some people were saying that the brushless version, they didn't engineer it to be compact, even though that's one of the things you can do with brushless motors. But they do have a version that they did make compact of this. So you might want to check that one out too if you want something that's more compact. Now, apparently this version has more torque than the brushless version by Ryobi. So this technically has more torque, but not enough to matter. The difference in torque between this and the brushless version will not really make a difference. You're going to be better off going with the brushless version, except it's more expensive. So if you want to save money and have a tool that works completely fine, go with this one, right? If you want something slightly better and you don't care about spending the money, go get the brushless version, right? So yeah, what else? So this is also going to be a little bit more noisy. The brushed version is going to be a little bit more noisy. The brushless version is going to have slightly less noise. So that's another thing to consider. Now, this has a 1/2 inch keyless chuck instead of the 3/4 inch, or rather 3/8 inch. So you can get a drill with a 1/2 inch chuck or a 3/8 inch chuck. You can get the other version. This one's going to be able to handle, it basically provides more torque and accepts larger drill bits. And it allows for quick and easy bit changes because it is keyless. So you can easily just twist this you know, twist this and, you know, pull the bit out, stick it back in. What else? The chuck, oh yeah, good. One thing to note here, the chuck is plastic. So, you know, I think it's supposed to, it is metal on some of the other versions. So like, for example, the brushless model, this is going to be metal, and there's a lot more, like, I think this is metal, and I believe this and another part like right here is also made of metal, not plastic. So this is heavy duty plastic. You could drop this on the floor, it's probably fine. The other one's better because it's metal. So that's another advantage of the brushless version of this same tool. So there's that. Now there's one thing I wanted to show you while I'm still thinking about it, is that this can be locked. So the chuck can be locked. So when you're tightening this, so you generally, like, this will loosen it up and this will tighten it. And once you tighten it all the way, you hear a click, and then you go back just slightly, that much, until you hear a tiny click, and that will lock it in place so it doesn't loosen it up while you're drilling or screwing things. This won't come loose and have the bit fall out while you're working. So yeah, just turn it all the way to tighten it all the way, and then just back one little notch and you'll feel a slight little click there. So that's worth being aware of. Now, this is supposed to be 500 pounds of torque, and there are 2 speed settings, right? So there's this 1 and 2 here. So you can flip this up to 2 and down to 1. So those are the speed settings, right? So 2 speed settings. So one of the speed settings is going to go from 0 to 450 RPM, and the other one is going to go from 0 to 1,750 RPM. And the other thing to be aware of is that there's a variable speed trigger. So depending on how much you push on the trigger will affect the speed. You can press really lightly and turn just a little bit, or pull it a little bit more, or pull it a lot, and it's going to spin a lot more. So variable, yeah. So you have a variable speed trigger. And what else? Next, I should show you the switch. So when you want to switch forward and reverse, there's this button. Flip it back on this side with your finger here, or with your thumb. This controls the direction clockwise or counterclockwise for screwing something in or unscrewing something, right? Or drilling into something or whatever, right? So next thing I want to point out is the 24 position clutch settings that provide better control to prevent overdriving screws. So for example, you don't, once a screw can't be spun anymore, rather than stripping the screw, you want this to just stop spinning, right? So if you set this to a setting, let's see, you can set this to a 2, and if I hold this very lightly, it stops just like that, right? Very lightly I have to hold it. I can set this up to, let's set this up at, like, say 12. Holding it very lightly, it'll still spin. I can hold it a little bit tighter and it stops, right? And this came loose. So anyways, yeah, I guess I did not lock that properly. Anyways, if I adjust this up to 22, I can hold this as tight as I want, and it will still spin. I cannot hold it tight enough to stop it from spinning at the highest setting there. Actually, that's just 20. It's 22, same deal. I can't hold it, I can't stop it from spinning with my hand. So that is the 24 position clutch settings. Now, what else do we have here? We talked about the variable speed trigger and the, this switch down here. So the other thing to be aware of is it has a magnetic tray to hold screws or bits. So right down here, now there's a little slot here. You could put a drill bit here or a screw here, or you could just drop them all on this magnetic tray right here. And what else? So yeah, there's the magnetic tray. Now there's also a clip down here to hold bits. So you can remove your bit like this, and you can clip it into this tray right here. And that holds it pretty well. Now, the other thing, okay, so there's the clip, the tray, and now there is an LED light for dark spaces. So notice that little light there, that actually does a pretty good, I have a lot of good lighting in the room, so you can't see how much it's lighting things up. It does a good job of lighting up the area that you would be drilling into. So it's pretty good for that, and it's a pretty convenient, nice thing to have. So yeah, there's that. And what else do we have here? So the battery. So this particular drill came in a kit with a battery and a charger. Now, I'm not reviewing the batteries or the charger or anything like that in this video. This video is more focused just on the drill. So I'm just talking about this product. You can buy this drill by itself without the battery and without the charger or anything else. And a lot of times they sell it like that, and it's a lot cheaper if you already have the batteries, because the batteries are pretty expensive. They're expensive to buy by themselves. And when you buy the drill with the battery, it's going to cost a lot more. Generally, if you buy it with the battery, you're probably going to have the charger along with it. But yeah, if you already have batteries, you might just want to get the tool by itself. So be aware of that, and be aware if you get the tool by itself and it's, the cheaper package, it might not come with a battery and you might have to buy one later. So, consider that when you're budgeting. Now, a 2 amp hour battery is supposed to be good enough for most jobs, but of course that depends on your job and how long you're really going to be using it. So, yeah, it doesn't hurt to have a 4 or a 6 amp hour battery. Now, this is a 1.5 amp hour battery, and this works totally fine too. It just won't last as long. For this tool, it works totally fine. It just won't last as long as a 2 amp hour battery or the 4 or the 6. The more amp hours, the longer it lasts. It should provide more than enough power for it. Now, some tools like the chainsaw, for example, they recommend, I think, at least a 4 amp hour battery. With this one, you're totally fine with this. With like 1.5, and they generally, as a good rule of thumb, say like a 2 amp hour battery. But more amp hours, it's going to last longer. And really, you're better off having multiple batteries, so one can be charging while you're using the other one. And yeah, there you go. So batteries, and check the link in the description for where I'm going to try to put some links to different battery options. And I'm going to put some links to this drill, a link to this drill, and a link to the brushless version and probably the compact version, and also like some kits for drill bits and driver bits and stuff like that you can also pick up. So yeah, I think that's about everything I could really say about the features and everything. I would like to point out I've had this for a few years now, and it's working great for me. I'm pretty happy with it. I also have the 12-volt version of this tool that's a lot less powerful than this. So the 18-volt version is going to be way more powerful than the 12-volt version, and they're both pretty good. The 12-volt version is like a small tool. It's lighter, easier to just carry around and screw and unscrew things, but I honestly find myself just going to this one by default for basically everything I do. So if you want to just get one of them between the 12 and the 18 volt, just grab this one. It works great. And if you want to save money, get this one rather than the brushless version. If you don't care about money, get the brushless version. And if you really don't care about money, or if you're like a professional working as in the trades, or as a construction worker, or doing anything where you do this as you're constantly all day long, you're going to be screwing things and stuff and drilling things, you might not want to go with Ryobi. You might want to go with something like Makita, Milwaukee, or DeWalt. Like those brands are probably the ones to go with. Off the top of my head, I would probably just pick DeWalt as a tried and true thing that all the everyone working in construction or whatever else is going to go with by default. So there you go. Those are your choices. Hopefully that informs you a little bit better. If I left anything out, leave a comment down below. Any questions, comments, criticisms, leave a comment down below. And yeah, definitely give me a thumbs up for this video, and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on our other great tool content. We test a lot of tools, we review a lot of tools, we do a lot of like actual action testing and showing how tools work in practice and demonstrating things you can do with them. We also review different tools that we have and talk about their features and all that other stuff, kind of like this video. So we've gone over a lot of other tools already, and we've done some unboxing videos, stuff like that, a lot of demos. So check out our existing content, and yeah, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our upcoming content. We have a lot of other great tool related content coming up, so don't miss out on that. Everything tool related, whether it be power tools or hand tools, all sorts of great stuff. You don't want to miss out. Definitely subscribe. And that's about it for today. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on that next video.